So, there's been a lot of buzz in the crypto space, but this one feels a little different. For anyone who's been mining Pi on their phone for the past few years, waiting for that what's next moment, it looks like a pretty significant piece of the puzzle just clicked into place. We're talking about a major update from Pi Pays, a platform that's been gaining traction within the Pi community. They've just announced that they are now fully embracing the Global Consensus Value, or GCV, for all transactions. This isn't just a small tweak or a minor feature update, it's a fundamental shift in how the value of Pi is being treated in a real-world marketplace, and it's got a lot of people talking. This news is huge because it moves the conversation about Pi from theoretical value to tangible application. For years, the core question has been, what will one Pi actually be worth? While the core team has been focused on building out the infrastructure and getting through the enclosed mainnet phase, the community has been speculating. The GCV represents a community-driven consensus on that very question. Pi Pays adopting this standard is like a major retailer deciding to accept a new currency at a specific high-value exchange rate. It's a bold move that provides a real-world test case for the valuation that many pioneers have been hoping for. Alright, let's get into the weeds a bit on this whole GCV thing. GCV stands for Global Consensus Value. Now, in the world of crypto, value can be a tricky subject. For coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, the value is largely determined by what people are willing to pay on open exchanges. It goes up, it goes down, it's volatile. The Pi network, however, is still in its enclosed mainnet period, meaning it's not on those public exchanges yet. So, the GCV is the Pi community's answer to the question of value. It's a proposed, standardized value for one Pi with a specific target of $314,159 per coin. It's an ambitious number, born from community discussion and a shared belief in the network's potential. You should care because the GCV represents a unified front from a large portion of the Pi community. Instead of waiting for external markets to decide Pi's worth, pioneers are proactively assigning it a value based on utility, size of its network, future potential. Think of it like this. If millions of people all agree that something has a specific value and are willing to transact at that value, it creates its own economic reality. The GCV is a powerful social and economic experiment. Its importance lies in its ability to create a stable and predictable pricing environment within the Pi ecosystem. So, what can you actually buy with your Pi at this GCV price? This is where it gets really interesting. Pi Pays has rolled out a digital showroom that looks like a high-end e-commerce site, but the price tags are in Pi, like 0.15 Pi. We're talking about major purchases here. The headliner is cars. Yes, actual cars. Practical sedans for the family premium SUVs. It's pretty wild to see a 2025 Toyota Camry with a price listed in a small fraction of a Pi coin or a Ford Mustang Mach-E with a Pi price. It's not just about four wheels. The platform has a pretty extensive section for motorcycles and electric bikes. Imagine being able to acquire a new Honda motorcycle or a sleek modern e-bike for your daily commute, without touching the money in your bank account. Instead, you'd use the Pi you've been accumulating on your phone. This opens up mobility options for people in a way traditional financing might not. The process is designed to be as straightforward as buying from any other online retailer, just with a different kind of currency at checkout. By offering these high-value items, Pi Pays is making a statement that Pi isn't for buying coffee, it's for making significant, life-improving purchases. When your neighbor can buy a car with Pi, the concept suddenly becomes very real. Okay, cars and bikes are cool, but let's talk about gadgets. The tech section on Pi Pays is shaping up to be a huge draw. We're seeing listings for smartphones, laptops, drones, other consumer electronics. Think about the flagship phones we're all looking forward to in late 2025. The iPhone 17 series, the Google Pixel 10, the next Samsung Galaxy Fold. Now imagine being able to get one of those on launch day, not by standing in line or pre-ordering with your credit card, but by using a small fraction of the Pi you've mined. This is the reality that Pi Pays is presenting. The process is designed to feel familiar. You browse a category, compare specs and look at reviews, just like you would on Amazon or Best Buy. The only difference is the price tag. For example, a new high-end laptop that might cost $2,000 would be listed for approximately 0.00636 Pi, assuming the GCV of $314,159. For someone who has been mining for a few years and has accumulated several Pi coins, that price is incredibly accessible. It completely changes the equation for tech upgrades. So how does this actually work? Let's walk through the process. It's surprisingly straightforward. It needs to be accessible to everyone, not just tech-savvy users. Flowchart. Browse on Omenda Pi Pays. Add to cart. Confirm shipping. Pay with Pi Wallet. First step. Have a Pi Wallet with some available balance. Pass KYC. Migrate MinePi to the mainnet. Open Pi browser and go to Omenda Pi Pays. All within the secure Pi ecosystem. On Omenda, it's a standard e-commerce experience. Create an account. Start browsing. iPhone 17, electric scooter, vehicles, electronics, home goods. Find something you want, add to cart. Prices shown in Pi. Example, a new drone might be listed as 0.004 Pi. Proceed to checkout. Confirm shipping details. Review order total. Platform generates a payment request. Open your Pi wallet to approve. Recipient wallet address shown. Exact amount of Pi to send shown. Review details in your Pi wallet. Authorize with your private key or passphrase. Transaction recorded on the Pi blockchain. It's secure, it's decentralized, you have full control. You're not entering credit card details. You sign a transaction from your wallet. Pi transfers from your wallet to the merchant's wallet. From a user experience perspective, this entire setup is a massive step forward. For years, the user journey for a pioneer was incredibly simple. Open the app, tap a button, close the app. It was passive. Now, the experience is becoming active and engaging. Pioneers are no longer just miners, they are consumers, shoppers, participants in a live economy. This shift in user experience is critical for long-term engagement. It gives a purpose to the daily act of mining. That button you tap every day is now directly connected to a catalog of real-world products. It makes the whole project feel more complete and rewarding. The simplicity of the interface is a huge win. The crypto world can be intimidating. Jargon, complex wallet addresses, gas fees. Omenda Pi Pays, integrated through the Pi browser, abstracts away that complexity. The experience feels less like crypto and more like online shopping. This is a game changer because it lowers the barrier to entry. You don't need to be a blockchain expert to buy a phone with Pi. If you can shop online, you can use this platform. This clean, intuitive UX is exactly what's needed for mass adoption. Furthermore, this creates a powerful feedback loop. A user buys with Pi and it arrives at their doorstep. That validates the project more than any white paper. They'll share that experience with friends, family, and on social media, creating organic marketing for Pi in the marketplace. This word-of-mouth validation is incredibly powerful. When you put this new Pi payment method side by side with traditional options like credit cards or bank transfers, some interesting differences emerge. With traditional payments, you're using fiat currency, dollars, euros, yen, that you've earned from a job or have as savings. With Pi, you're using a digital currency that you've accumulated over time, often at little to no monetary cost, just the small effort of tapping a button on your phone. This creates a psychological difference. It can feel like you're using house money or a reward you've earned, rather than spending your hard-earned salary. Another key difference is the underlying technology and fee structure. Credit card transactions involve multiple intermediaries: the merchant's bank, the card network like Visa or MasterCard, and your bank. Each of these takes a small cut, which adds up to the 2 or 3% processing fees that merchants have to pay, a cost often passed on to the consumer. Pi transactions, on the other hand, are peer-to-peer on the blockchain. While there is a small network transaction fee, around 1/100th of a Pi, it's fixed and incredibly low, regardless of the transaction size. This efficiency is a core benefit of blockchain technology. There's also the aspect of accessibility and financial inclusion. To get a credit card, you need a bank account, a good credit history, and you need to live in a region with a well-developed financial infrastructure. The Pi network is global by design. Anyone with a smartphone can start mining Pi. Finally, let's talk about privacy and security. While Pi transactions are recorded on a public ledger when you make a purchase, you're not handing over a trove of personal data like you do with a credit card. Your name, billing address, card number, expiration date, and CVV. This move by Omenda Pi Pays is more than just a new place to shop. It's a foundational element for the entire Pi ecosystem. For any currency to have value, it needs utility. It needs to be useful for something other than just trading it for another currency. By creating a marketplace for high-value goods like cars and gadgets, Omenda is generating exactly that kind of utility on a massive scale. It gives millions of people a compelling reason to use their Pi. This also serves as a powerful proof of concept for other developers and businesses. When other entrepreneurs see that a major marketplace is successfully operating and facilitating high-value transactions using Pi at the GCV, It will encourage them to build their own apps and services on the Pi platform. Services, gaming, social media, more Omenda Pi Pays is acting as a trailblazer, demonstrating the viability of the business model, reducing the perceived risk for others who want to enter the ecosystem. This will lead to a richer, more diverse, and more useful network for everyone. Furthermore, it helps solidify the GCV. Every single transaction that occurs on the platform at the agreed-upon value strengthens the consensus. When thousands of people buy real products at a GCV-derived price, it becomes harder to argue that Pi's value is zero or some other low number. It builds a historical record of real-world commerce. This data will be incredibly valuable when the time comes for the Pi network to transition to an open mainnet. Instead of launching into a volatile market with pure speculation, Pi will have a strong, community-backed valuation supported by a history of real economic activity. In the end, this all comes back to the core vision of the Pi network: to build the world's most widely used and accessible cryptocurrency. To achieve that, you need a thriving ecosystem where people can actually use the currency in their daily lives. The partnership with marketplaces like Omenda Pi Pays is a critical step in turning that vision into a reality. Pioneers can earn Pi through mining, then spend that Pi on goods and services from merchants who can then use that Pi to pay their own suppliers or employees. This creates a self-reinforcing loop that grows the network from the inside out.